Welcome back to Get Down to Business, this show all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship. You can always download all of our past 11 plus years of shows on my website at syklein.com. I've got a treat in store for you. I'm thrilled to be joined by Claudia Vasquez, who is a Tampa Bay-based executive entrepreneur and professional career coach with experience in the insurance and benefits industry and diversity and inclusion for over 20 years. She has a new book. It's called From Dreams to Destiny, a practical guide to achieving your aspirations. Claudia, welcome to the program. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's really a pleasure to be here with your audience.
Absolutely. Claudia, you have a very impressive background, and I just gave the highlights. Would you mind introducing yourself for our listeners? Where are you from? What type of work do you do?
Of course, my pleasure. I am originally from Mexico. I came to the United States in my mid-20s, but since I came to the United States, I have been working for the insurance industry. So my career has evolved and progressed in different roles within corporate America, 5 different Fortune 500 companies in the insurance industry. And throughout my career growth, it has always come to me where people are asking me questions of how have you learned to grow? What do I need to do to get to where you are, etc. And that's where I discovered the need to be a mentor for others and for unrepresented talent, that it's finding their way to navigate corporate America. That's how Eleving started, where I have spent time creating workshops that are designed specifically for those who are starting their careers and they just need to learn how to navigate corporate America. So that is, in a nutshell, what I do and what I have done in the past few years.
Absolutely. I'm chatting with the author of a new book, From Dreams to Destiny, a practical guide to achieving your aspirations, Claudia Vasquez. So Claudia, writing a book is indeed a dream, but it is a lot of work. It is a lot of work. So what was it that inspired you to write From Dreams to Destiny?
It is. And I'm so glad you asked that question because it's been 30 years. Everything that I wrote in here, it's personal experiences of the past 30 years and the methodologies to be able to achieve someone's dream. So I'm a very practical individual. And when I was invited to write the book, I didn't feel that I had enough content to be, an author. But as I started to put the outline together, as I started to design which stories that I wanted to portray, what were the 8 main principles, what was the methodology utilized with each one of those steps, I felt more and more comfortable and more inspired because I consider myself an ordinary individual with a lot of challenges and setbacks and difficulties and obstacles as coming as an immigrant into the United States, not speak English being my second language, and many other socio-economical disadvantages. And if I was able to, get myself through college, through a master's degree, be able to grow in corporations and at the same time be able to be a mom and a wife and a sister, I felt that I'm a testament of what anyone can achieve. And I went from living in a car garage. When I arrived to the United States for the first 5 years, I lived in a car garage. And I moved from there to owning our own home. I went from barely graduating high school to getting a bachelor's degree and a master's degree with honors. So if the 8 principles talk about what people need to do to get themselves to that new mindset and the new type of activities that will focus them to be able to achieve that next step in their life, whatever it is. It could be something really small or something really big.
So I want to dive a little bit deeper on the 8 guided principles, which you just alluded to, Claudia. So what explains some of them for our listeners and how they might be relevant, especially, as we're wrapping up the calendar year 2024 and moving into 2025. Everybody's focused on trying to better themselves, right?
Exactly. And that's the amazing things, right? That's why we are always evolving and we're always growing and expanding ourselves. But it always starts with a dream. to me, it always starts with the clarity of your North Star. And like I said, whatever it is, buying a new car, starting your own company, losing weight, whatever it is, you have that North Star and that's your dream. That is what you're focusing on. And then from there, you have to make a plan of how you plan to achieve that. And the way that I try to illustrate this is your dream being your destination, and your plan and sticking to your plan is your navigation, right? Like your GPS. So once you put your GPS into the destination, it may deroute you. You may, encounter traffic, and you may find, or sometimes they may find a faster way for you to get there. So once you have, but you need to be clear of where you're going and what you're trying to achieve. So it always starts with, dare to dream or have a dream, make a plan, stick to the plan. That's another thing. People sometimes get discouraged because obstacles come their way, because things are not going exactly how they plan, and then they decide to quit. And possibly they were very close to achieving that one thing that they had been dreaming of and working towards, but they were not tenacious enough or, persevere enough to be able to get to that next step. And then the next one is it's gratefulness, being grateful for what we have, and getting into that mindset of being appreciative of all the great things that have happened. And then others have to be with letting go and lifting others, right? It's always about giving back. I have given back to the community for 30 years in many different ways, and people should take their talents and their innate abilities as a gift that they can give back to others.
Absolutely. Well, the book has 8 guided principles, which we've just been chatting about with Claudia Vasquez, the author of From Dreams to Destiny. We're going to have to squeeze in a very quick break here on Get Down to Business, the show all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship. When we come back, we're going to dive a little bit deeper in some takeaways and some real action items that people can put into practice in the weeks and months ahead. You're listening to Get Down to Business. We'll be right back. Hey, we're back and Get Down to Business, the show all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship. And I'm continuing my conversation with the author of From Dreams to Destiny. And that's Claudia Vasquez. And Claudia, you have been so kind and vulnerable in sharing your own stories, really your own dreams that you have turned into a reality, writing this book and really overcoming so many obstacles to the successful entrepreneur, the successful professional that you are today. Claudia, how were you able to overcome your particular challenges, and what were some of your goals? And are there any that's still on your New Year's resolution list for 2025?
Oh, yes. Those that know me know that I always have a goal in mind. I always need to be working towards something. But let's start with the setbacks and the challenges. Some of the challenges that I shared in the book had to do with a personal illness, like breast cancer, and others like losing our house after we were traveling across the country from California to New Jersey, just to realize when we arrived there that the house that we were supposed to move into was no longer available due to some situation with the couple that were getting a divorce, the couple that we were purchasing that from. So we needed to live, the 5 of us, my 3 kids, my husband, the dog, and myself, in a hotel for almost 3 months at a new city where we didn't know anyone, we didn't have any family, and I was starting a new job. And the way that I take those setbacks is I always think that that there's always a lesson, that experience is bringing me something that I need to learn. And one of the things that I've learned is that I have to let go. Whatever the circumstances are, they're happening for a reason, and I need to switch the way that I'm thinking about the situation and just let it go, let it settle. Obviously, I take 1 or 2 days to feel whatever I need to feel, whether it's disappointment, sadness, fear, etc. And then possibly by the second, third day, I start being grateful for the things that I do have, and I turn things around. I start with a new perspective on things, and I start to let go of the negative and focus on the positive, like on the hotel, realizing that, oh, well, I don't have to clean, I don't have to cook, I have time to be with boys, we can use the pool, etc. So those 3 months, we started to explore the city. We started to go to different places and be tourists at the new location. And I didn't have to worry about many things that normally a household will require. So it's making that mindset and that change. As for my personal goals, 2025, I'm going to dedicate it to myself. And what I mean by that is I just turned 53 years old, and I have a 15-year-old son, and he is into football. So he goes to the gym, and I promised myself that 2025, I'm going to have a physical, fitness plan for myself, because I want to continue to grow older, but in a healthier manner, so that I can enjoy all the activities and all the planned travel that we have. One of my dreams is to go to Machu Picchu in Peru, but actually do the walk, which is about 5 days walk. And, I don't remember exactly the number of kilometers that I will need to walk, but it's hiking, etc. So I need to prepare for that. So I'll prepare in 2025, and my goal is to go to Peru early 2026.
That's an incredible goal. And thank you again for sharing so much, not only from the book, but also just making this very personal and inspirational. Again, we've been chatting with Claudia Vasquez, the author of From Dreams to Destiny, a must read. And in fact, I might add that might be one of the most important takeaways from this conversation is you must get a copy of the book, because there are 8 guided principles in there. Claudia, last thing we have time for is how can we get in touch with you and how can we find the book?
Yes, you can find me in LinkedIn under Claudia Vasquez. You can also go to elevink.com. There is a space there to get information. The book, you can get it in Amazon. And not only is there a book, but there's also a diary that it's a companion workbook. So anyone that really wants to get their hands on and start working on themselves and starting to get get themselves ready for success, they can also purchase the companion diary.
Perfect. We'll link in the show notes as well. That's a wrap for us this week on Get Down to Business. As always, you get on my website, syklein.com. To success, let's get down to business.